My Virgos, hello and welcome to your August 2017 reading. So, wow, that card just flew out. This month is a big one for you guys. This is going to be a heavy hitter for you. And it's an important one for establishing a really good foundation, building up to your birthday. And happy birthday to the August Virgos out there. Hi. Before I get into the notes about why this is such an important time for you this time of year, let me just point out that I'm still working with my beautiful friend Tiffany, Pink LUNE. She's doing some amazing things with Amethyst. I'm going to leave her 15% promo code on how to find her on Etsy. She's amazing. Shout out to her. But let's get back to you guys. So, there's a lot of energy and there are a lot of planets in Leo in August. The energy is very much focused in Leo, which is the sign right before yours. It's the 12th house. It's that placement right before your birthday is a slowdown time. It's a time to take stock of the year. It's a time to go into your deep secret places and sit with it. And it can sometimes feel a little bit slow and a little bit confusing and a little bit foggy when you're in your 12th house energy. Well, everybody goes through it at some point, right before their birthday, they go through it. And what's interesting too is your ruling planet is going to be in retrograde in your 12th house. I believe it'll be in your 12th house, but it will be retrograde in August as well. So there's a big slowdown happening for you guys right before your birthdays for most of the month. And I have a note, as always. I always have a note from my dear lovely friends. And this note this time, and this is what I think is going to be coming up for a lot of you, is do you love yourself or do you demand of yourself? There's a big difference between those two, isn't there? I mean, they're not mutually exclusive whatsoever, but I know that you guys tend to demand of yourselves more than you do to sit and love. Sit and love yourself. You want to push to be doing the best and to be living in truth and authenticity and getting things done. You're not wanting to waste your time on sitting, what you think is wasting your time, sitting there loving on yourself and, oh, it's so cute. No. Right? But this month you're going to need some time with that. You're going to need some time with that because there's so much energy. We have this new, right before your birthday season starts, we have this new moon in Leo. We have this big eclipse. The 12th house action is really, really intense for you. And your ruling planet will still be in retrograde, I do believe, during that eclipse. So there's a lot going on there, just planet-wise. And then, and then you're also just right before your birthday, you're setting the stage. You're combing through the details. You're looking at how you're feeling and what you're doing and what's going on in your life. And you are and this is a time to kind of set yourself up so that when you hit your birthday and when you hit this brand new solar year for you, it is a time of joy and forward motion, and you feel refreshed and you feel reinvigorated. When we have retrogrades, when we have slowdowns, when we're in our 12th house, what we're doing there is we're incorporating, we're integrating, and we're taking stock. Because if you just did forward motion all the time and you constantly pick at things and work on things and make things happen all the time, you would just be exhausted. And you would just feel kind of like you were on a hamster wheel, or like you're Sisyphus pushing the rock up the hill. And we don't want that for you, right? So it's really a gift. So even if you are feeling a little bit like you do not want to have to sit there in your house of secrets, in your house of emotion, in your house of dreams and all and visions and all, and you're wanting to move more, it's okay. Just breathe through it. So right off the bat, let's look at these cards, because this is the landscape This is a perfect example of the landscape we have going on here when it comes to August. So, the Eight of Swords to me, this is a gift. It's a gift of an energy to have. And the reason I say that is because the Eight of Swords forces us to slow down, look at how we are self-sabotaging when it comes to our thoughts. The Eight of Swords asks us to look at how we bind ourselves. How we bind ourselves with our narratives, how we bind ourselves with our fear, how we bind ourselves with our mental loops. And it slows us down because we're blind. We're not going to be moving quickly on stuff and out of sync, right? And this is coming in this moon. And to me, the moon and your 12th house, so deeply linked. This landscape of having to kind of go back in and look and take stock and be sure that you know who you are and what you're doing. You're going to feel this. I think a lot of you are going to be feeling like this energy, this moonlit landscape and this blindness and kind of a fog and a slowness the first half of this month. August is going to kind of feel this way, and you might be a little confused as to why you're feeling so out of sorts and kind of not like your usual energetic, clear-headed self. And my biggest suggestion is to just accept it, be really accepting of it. And this is part of self-love. This is part of, instead of demanding of yourself, loving yourself. Loving yourself is knowing that you need to take some extra time out. And you don't have to be doing everything all the time. You can take an extra nap. You can take a day off of work if you need to and just rest. You can skip that extra meeting. That's a volunteer board kind of thing. You don't have to do it all. And the more you embrace that energy, the more you are going to feel reinvigorated. And by the time your birthday hits, there's going to be a big surge in energy for you, which is wonderful. And that's exactly what we want for you, Virgos, right? So it's not that long lasting of an energy. Just give it a couple weeks. It's going to ride out. Then what happens? Then what happens with your reading here? Oh, big movement, actually. I think a lot of you are going to have some really deep insights about the way you tell stories to yourself, about the way that you paint a picture of yourself and what you have to do and what you're supposed to do. I mean, the Chariot is about having a clarity about where you're going. Chariots run on a track. Not on a track, but they're the way they're designed is to move forward in a very direct line. They're not doing lots of twisting and turning. They are made to go in a straight line. They are made to go forward, forge into new territory. They are made to be symbols of victory and speed and precision and vision. And so I think a lot of you are going to find that after this foggy time, if you've embraced it and you've allowed yourself to sit in it and just allow the murky, foggy layers to come over you and to dream, that you realize what path you're on. You realize where you want to be going. You realize a big dream that you've always wanted to do. And I think a lot of you have said you can't do it because it's not responsible, or you can't do it because it will let somebody else down, or you can't do it because you're not good enough. And suddenly you're going to realize that that isn't serving you anymore. It's not serving you to sell yourself short like that. In fact, it's taking away from what you could be giving to the world. And we can't have that. We can't have that, Virgo. We can't have that. And the thing is, here's this Judgment card. This is getting freed. Look at these guys. They are coming up from underground. They're coming up from almost this coffin-like containers. And they're seeing that they do not have to be trapped in this cycle anymore. And the thing that I keep picking up with this reading today, you guys, is that you have a narrative of yourself. You have a narrative of what you think you're allowed to do, you're allowed to have, you're allowed to accomplish, you're allowed to share. You have a narrative that's, for some of you, this narrative has been so strong in your life, you don't even realize you have it. Because it seems logical, it seems rational, it seems like something that anybody could see, it just seems like reality. But, when you really take a look at it, you realize it's something that you have told yourself enough to make it seem like it's reality, when really it's not. Really, there's a shift in perception coming up here where you realize you can just be free of it. You realize you can just let it go. And that when you do, you can have anything you want. You can have that lover. You can move from that city you don't like. You can leave that job that isn't serving you anymore. You can stop telling yourself those harsh things first thing in the morning. You can relax and go on that vacation. You can start that business. You can start applying to different jobs and leave the one that you feel like you have to stick to for some reason. It's that kind of energy. And honestly, this kind of energy can also be, you know, for those of you with love, things going on with love, it can also be a realization that maybe you have been putting walls up and not letting people in. I mean, this is realizing you haven't actually been letting people in, and you've been keeping yourself safe with rationality and with the checklist, as we always talk about. There's a lot of ways that this can come out for each of you, because you're each going to have your own wall. You're each going to have your own blockage, your own story that you've been telling yourself, that I think you're going to really be feeling and realizing what that story is in that first half of the month. So by the time we get too close, when the planets start to move into Virgo, when they start to shift out, there's going to be this clarity. And what's great about it is that it's going to make you feel so much lighter and freer and more playful. I think, Virgos, you guys are actually very playful people. You're very fun. You're so smart and quick and witty. And you have a sense of humor, you know, and you do have a playfulness about you. And I'm happy to see that coming up here. Like, if you can free yourself from some of these talks that you give to yourself, you're going to be feeling the sun energy of this childlike playfulness, this brightness, this warmth. And also, this is kind of a blessing card. So if you do realize that you need to make a big change, if you do realize you want to take a leap of faith, and you do realize you need to do something that's going to fit with your heart center so much more, there's something here meeting you on the other side. There's a warmth and a brightness to this energy that is very supportive of you expanding into new territory and being playful and being fun and being bright and being vibrant. I love this for you guys so much. Now, it's interesting. So, you know, you're going to be feeling that freedom. You're going to be feeling that freedom and that realization of something that's been holding you back, that narrative that's been holding you back. But how you're going to want to, and you're going to realize you can do it and you can change it. You're going to want to go back to your old habits, though, because here we have the 5 of Wands and the 8 of Pentacles. And these two cards are great, actually. I think they're very fun. And I do think that they really represent Virgo quite well, because you guys have this playfulness, this banter, this ability to hold your own and be very, like, direct with people, right? And you can spar all day long and it won't ruffle your feathers one bit, and you can do the work. You know, the 7 of Pentacles, I think I said 8 before, but I meant 7. 7 of Pentacles is about all the work that you have done so far, taking a break, looking at what you've done and realizing you've done so much, and then knowing you have more to do. So when I'm getting this, it's like you're going to have that revelation. You're going to have that, like, I can have the thing that I want. I can do the stuff that I've wanted to do. I can push myself into this new horizon. This is amazing. Let's do it. You're gonna go back to your toolbox of your rationality and your ability to hold your space immediately in order to deal with this, which I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, one of the great things about you guys is that you can come up with a plan of action. If you realize that you have something you need to change, or you realize you have a dream that you want to implement, you go to the drawing board and you figure out the steps to get there. And that's great, because it means that you'll probably actually do it. Whereas, you know, some other signs can be a little bit more wishy-washy and dreamy about it. You're going to go back to this. The one thing I will say about this, though, is this may be tempting. It may be tempting to have a realization about what you want to change, and then to kind of just go back to the belief that you just need to battle it out and play the long game and not make changes. That's kind of what I'm picking up. So be aware of the fact that change is not easy. Just suddenly leaping into things and being childlike and playful and changing things up and being kind of carefree about it isn't just something that's going to change overnight. there's still going to be that urge for you to want to hold on to reality as you know it. So this is a process. And I think some of you might even be blinding yourselves with it, which is funny that we're coming back around to this swords energy, this mental energy. I think some of you are going to want to kind of retract. You're going to have the realization about this big change you want to make, and you're going to be really excited about it, and you're going to be like, yes, I'm going to do it. And then there's going to be kind of this urge to go back and feel blind about the decision that's ahead of you, and feel blind about the fact that you have to do this thing, and it's like you don't know if you can do it or not. You're second guessing yourself a little bit. You're second guessing your value and if you're allowed to do it. And it's okay. Once again, this is part of this fog. This is part of this 12th house. This is part of right before your solar return. And for those of you who don't have a birthday till September, you might be feeling all of August a little bit more in your head, a little bit dreamier. Those with the earlier birthday, I think you'll probably come out of it quicker because you're going to feel that surge of energy with your sun placement. But this is energy of kind of wanting to go back to what's safe and known. This is energy of kind of wanting to go back to blinding yourself with that narrative again, right? But you're being called, the thing with this month is it's kind of huge. It's kind of huge because the final card I have today, you guys, is the Fool. And the Fool is asking you to expand beyond that old paradigm. It's a huge month. We have this big eclipse, and it's right before Virgo season. It's right there, right before your sun, that sun enters Virgo. We are having this huge eclipse in your 12th house. And it is asking you to really look at what is serving you and asking you to make some bold changes. The Fool is about making huge, bold changes that you have to commit to. You have to commit to yourself and love yourself enough to know that this kind of change is what is required to have a fulfilling life. And you can try and ignore it, but I think you're going to be finding that you are going to be feeling it. This is an extremely powerful month, and because of the placement of the 12th house and this Mercury retrograde and the eclipse, all of this happening for you in the way that it's going to be a big month. You are going to be feeling it at such a deep level. And, it's not always easy to have things coming at you like that. But just be aware that this is a huge process. This is a big invitation, Virgos, for you to make changes in your life that you've been wanting to, and you've been suppressing it because you want to do right by things and because you demand so much of your authenticity and your showing up and your consistency. You demand so much of yourself from that you sometimes miss out on the fact that you are meant to be doing something bigger and better and bolder that is about your self-love and your journey. So keep that in mind. I love you guys. I'm going to put my website and my email below. I do private readings on Skype, on phone. I can do pre-recorded readings. I'd love to hear from you guys, so please check that out. I will also leave Pink LUNE below, 15% off at her Etsy shop. She does amazing work. Love her so much. And I will see you guys in September for your big birthday month. And once again, happy birthday to August, Virgos out there. Please have a beautiful month. Enjoy this expansion and this clarity and this freedom from your old ways. I love you guys, and I will see you soon.